Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Today I wanted to talk about dark empaths and what they are for today's Q&A because I have been asked to kind of cover this topic, and believe it or not, this is actually something I just learned about this year meaning within 2021. And once I realized that dark empaths are a thing, a lot of people in my life from the past that are within the spiritual world or claim to be spiritual and work as spiritual advisors and things of that nature, how they are began to make sense for me. And hopefully this video will save properly, because recently with Mercury retrograde energy going on, because we're in the pre-shadow at the time of this live, it's been saving with a delay. So that's why I'm here to talk about that. So a dark empath, I'm just going to give my interpretation of what I have come to understand them to be. Dark empaths are individuals that are empaths. They do have the ability to tap into other people's emotions and perspectives and to feel what they feel. But the difference between an empath such as myself, who I guess people would categorize as more of a service empath, where you are of service to others to help them out, to help them grow, to help them seek answers. Whereas a dark empath is someone who tends to use their ability to tap in to the other person's experiences and emotions to manipulate them or to use it to their advantage. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't dark empaths out here doing readings and giving advice. They are. But if you really tap into the kind of advice that they give, often you will see that the advice or the reading that they're giving is serving their own agenda in some way or fashion. Or the reading that they're giving, it's almost as if it's coming from an arrogant or condescending place, to where they may be giving more of their opinion versus, just being neutral and just giving the guidance needed without judgment, if that is making sense. So I've noticed that. But also, like I said, dark empaths too will often use their gift and ability to their advantage in a more of a negative way, either to manipulate you to get what they want. A lot of the time, these will be people that are either narcissistic or have narcissistic tendencies, but are also empaths, meaning they can feel and experience other people. So they know how to manipulate you. They know your deepest truths. They know what you really feel inside. So they then know how to use that to manipulate you to either control you, to make themselves feel better, because they are actually coming from a place of their own insecurity, even though they wouldn't admit that, or to elevate, to gain praise. You know what I mean? A lot of what they will do to help others is really more so to make themselves look better, or to appear more of value, versus someone who would again be considered like a service empath, who is just here to basically help people to find their own way. Hopefully that is making sense. So that is my interpretation of what a dark empath may be. And if you just joined in, feel free to comment below if you have any thoughts on this topic, or if you have another question, because I'm going to open this up to Q&A. You can do that as well. And then, of course, I'm going to save this and eventually put it on my YouTube if you want to go back and listen. Let's see if I can think of any further signs to look for a dark empath. One of them I've noticed, a sign to look for with a dark empath, is that how to explain this? Because they view themselves to have an ability, if you were, or an expert to some degree, if you were to disagree with them, they would get angry. And it's not not the angry in terms of man, it's frustrating that you're not seeing the truth of the matter. It's more of an angry and frustration in the fact that you're disagreeing with them, and because they view themselves to be an expert on the matter, and because they feel like they have this gift, they get literally angry with you, more so for the fact that you're not doing or falling into line with their view of things or perspective for things, rather than just understanding that people come into their own awareness and their own awakening on their own time, and it's not anybody's responsibility to force someone into that, if that makes sense. So that's one of the signs I've noticed. Let me see if there's another one that comes through. I feel that dark empaths also, they can tend to work more so in the shadow realm of things. That doesn't mean that all people that work within the shadow realm of things are dark empaths, because I work in the shadow realm as well when need be, or when I'm doing shadow work on myself. So do many others that I know. And it's more so of a way to heal and work through things to become stronger. But when I say, like, when it comes to a dark empath, it's more of, you can kind of sense that their energy comes from more ego-based energy, to where, like, they may want to force a spiritual message upon you that they see, but it's more so to, like, gain some sort of, like, get the tea, if that makes sense, where it's like they may want to just get some sort of gossip out of you, or get some sort of answer or knowledge that they can then use to hold against you later on in time, if that's making sense. Not because they genuinely care about what you're experiencing and wanting to help you to go through it. They either want to keep tabs to, like, hold it against you later on in time to use to their advantage, or to make themselves better out of comparison of, man, your situation is worse than mine, kind of a thing. So that's another sign I've noticed of a dark empath. Hi, hope you guys are doing well. Does anybody have any questions on anything I've been talking about so far, or any other Q&A questions? Feel free to comment below. If not, I will get running soon. Can dark empaths transform to come into the light? I would assume or hope. I definitely know someone in this energy. I feel like they can. I feel like they can. I mean, it is, like, I feel like they can, a good majority of them. Now, if there's someone who's narcissistic but also a dark empath, that can be a bit debatable, because for the most part, people would say that a narcissistic cannot change that part about them. It's basically a part of who they are. They can only learn new behavior. So a true narcissist in terms of, like, diagnosed with it and things like that. But for the most part, I do feel they can come into the light. I mean, people change and evolve all the time, and it's kind of like the person that maybe committed a horrible crime at a stage in life when they were in a dark, depressed state, and then when they're in prison and they have time to do soul surgery and shadow work and self-reflect, because they're forced to deal with themselves and themselves only, and then they have some sort of an awakening, and then they change and they evolve. They see the light, as people would say. So I feel it's possible, like I said, unless there's a deeper issue, like someone who is genuinely narcissistic but also dark empath. That's debatable on if they would ever change because of that narcissistic trait. And I definitely feel like I've dealt with some of those in my life, for sure. I know I've in the past dated a dark empath. Like, this person was both narcissistic and a dark empath, so they knew how to tap into what I was feeling at any given time, but they always would use it as a form to manipulate me, and it was a horrible feeling, because on one hand, it will make you feel like, man, this person knows me better than anyone, but they're also playing off your deepest insecurities and your fears and your hurt. And they're using it to put you down, or to make you feel less than, to make them feel better, and to manipulate you as a mean of control. Definitely been through that in the past, and I'm glad to say I've grown, evolved from all of that now, and that is way behind me in the past now. I've had some friendships like that too. You know, family like that too. Oh my goodness. So yeah. Right? Totally. I hope and pray for them. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, all you can do is kind of send them some love from a distance. I wouldn't recommend, if it's somebody of that nature that is causing you some harm, to like keep ties if you can prevent it, but you can definitely send them love from a distance, and just understanding that they're a product of their environment, they're a product of their experiences, and at some point in their life, something traumatic happened to them to make them that way, to make them have to feel like they have to overcompensate and make everything about them, you know, so that they can feel better. It's sad when you think about it. Anybody else have any more questions? Hope you guys are doing well. And of course, if you haven't already, you guys, please make sure you go check out the podcast that we just released, our first episode of the the Bridge Between podcast. So go on over to our Instagram for that. It's the Bridge Between 888, and the link to our YouTube video to watch our first episode is over there. All right, I think that's all I've got for you guys right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this topic. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your day. I love you all, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.